Wallhanger TV is brought to you by Elite Archery, respect the game. Reconics, see what you've been missing. Dead Downwind, it's not just luck. Antler King, bigger bucks, healthier deer. Gator Track Boats, making waves where the competition can't. Mossy Oak, it's not a passion, it's an obsession. Scott Archery, everyone's #1. Ozonics, in the field ozone generator. Ammo2go.com, your one-stop shop for all your ammo needs. Last time on Wallhanger, Chad connected on his first bull elk.
Check this dude out, man. Give me some of that.
Uncle Chris and Ranger had closed the deal at Black Range.
How we doing on Wallhanger TV, right there, baby.
And back at Bighorn, last but not least, Boy Wonder punched his tag in the last hours of the hunt.
Dude, you gotta be kidding me. Huh? Freaking congrats, dude.
Also last week, Robert Beal had arrived in southwest Kansas at Tall Tine Outfitters for the Kansas opener, and the guys had pinpointed a giant buck frequenting the same area the past 2 days. Kansas in general is well known for producing big whitetails. Hunters are only allowed to take 1 buck per year, and the early season in Kansas has become a very popular time for hunters to take trophy bucks.
You know, Kansas has got a lot of options for early season hunters. I mean, we're usually making an early trip. Robert and those guys are always out early. You do have to deal with the weather being hot a lot of times and dry and windy. But if you do your scouting right and you're in a good location, it can pay off. I mean, Kansas has got a long season. You can use products like attractants or protein feed, things like that to your advantage. It's a good location for hunters to look into for early season hunts.
In southwest Kansas, it's no secret to Ted Jaycox and Robert Beal that this is truly the land of the giants. These two guys have been knocking down big bucks for the last several years. Serious whitetail fanatics is an understatement with Robert and Ted. These guys hunt hard, hunt the wind, and most importantly, let the young bucks walk.
And one thing about where these guys are hunting, there's always mature bucks. Seems like they have more mature bucks per square mile than just about anywhere we hunt. And I just think it's from hard work and paying off and Ted and them managing that property so well for so many years.
It's September in Kansas, and you can bet that Robert can be found somewhere nearby. This would be his 7th consecutive year hunting Kansas.
And one thing about early season hunting in Kansas, it can be a gamble. I mean, we've been there plenty of years and you just can't get anything going. That's kind of what Robert was dealing with. And he just caught a lucky break, man. They're heading up to town and actually see one of the bucks they would love to get after. So now they've got him located and they're pretty much settling in for the evening hunt.
It's opening day of the Kansas deer season. It's actually archery and muzzleloader season. It opens the same week. That's why we're in Orange today. We're in a new spot that I've actually never hunted here in Kansas with Ted. And got up this morning, decided not to come in here and hunt. We didn't have any of our stuff set up in here and ready to go yet. We just thought we'd kind of scout these fields out behind these cottonwoods. And who do we see? Is this buck again. He's just a beautiful deer. Not really sure exactly how big he is, but I'm pretty sure if you stay tuned right here on Wallhanger Television, you're liable to see me harvest my first booner. So I'm gonna get quiet and get settled and see what happens.
Anticipation was very high, as any whitetail hunter knows that monitoring recent big buck behavior without being detected increases the chances dramatically of seeing the animal again.
Face painted up. These Louisiana boys are hunting here with us this week, and they're always getting all painted up. We're gonna let them get painted up without me.
Well, I don't know what Robert's talking about, letting the Louisiana boy get all painted up without him, but one thing for sure, this Louisiana boy could give him a lesson or two on how to do his face paint.
He's gonna be in big trouble if he comes in this area. Big, big trouble. 20 yards.
The evening pushed on and lights started to fade, but right on schedule, bucks started to emerge from the shadows.
Oh, there's a bigger deer now.
He's got too many bucks coming in at the same time, and the way it looks to me, they're all shooters.
My adrenaline is going so much. I love you, man.
This segment has been brought to you by G5, designed to hunt, and by Advanced Tree Stands. engineered to advance your game. This segment is brought to you by Halo Rangefinders from Wild Game Innovations, never miss, and by Black Rack Rattling System, twice the sound with twice the rack, only from Flextone.
My buck showed up. The split G2 buck is here. There's my problem. He's about 300 yards away. Oh, there's a bigger deer down there.
Man, my boy Robert's got some issues. He's got too many bucks coming in at the same time, and the way it looks to me, they're all shooters. What a problem to have. I wish I had problems like that.
I'm gonna kill that other deer.
One thing about Kansas, some open country, and the bad part about Kansas is it's open country. Robert's getting to see these bucks come all the way across this field, and he's getting tore up. He's shaking like a leaf.
As one of the big bucks feet inside bow range, Robert has to gain his composure in order to take the shot.
Smoked a giant. Folks, I've killed a lot of big deer in my life, and I've hunted all over the country. Today, it's a little cold, but I'm not gonna blame it on that. I was falling to pieces watching these deer come across this wheat field. I can't talk. Man, my adrenaline is going so much. I love you, man. Tall Time Outfitters, year 7. What's next?
Man, good job, Robert. You done it again, man.
Oh, Lord Jesus, Ted. He's a lot heavier than I thought. I just killed a giant in Kansas. Folks, that's what I'm talking about. Mule deer forks, crab clawed on the end. Just a beast. This is a beast. He's a big body, mature deer, beautiful eye guards. This is a beautiful deer. Good long main beams, they wrap way around. This is all palmated. He's kind of got a little acorn tip here. That's what it's all about right here. Great shot on a great buck. Another successful year in Kansas. I don't think I could be any more happy.
Well, now it's Dana's turn to hit Kansas early season, and we've been doing a lot of work getting ready. And I mean, you look at Robert's hunt, I mean, Kansas can be magical early season, but it's a crapshoot, man. It can be terrible too. The only thing we got going for us, there is a front coming up in the next day or two, so we're pretty excited to get in the woods and see what happens.
Well, today's October the 4th, and this is our first official hunt in Kansas. We've been up here several times, and even yesterday just doing a bunch of work trying to get ready for the season and making sure all the stands are in place and food plots are good. So this evening we're just going to kind of slip in here. It's warmed up a lot today, but there's supposed to be a front coming through Saturday, so we're just going to slip in here for a couple hours and see if we can't get on something.
Well, it's early October and I'm so excited because officially this is my first hunt of the year.
The spot we're sitting in this evening is just a small patch of trees, and on each side of us there's 2 big pastures. I think they have wheat planted on this side. It's just now coming up, but this is just a natural funnel for these deer to go through. So we're just kind of set up here, hoping we can catch a good buck coming through.
Well, no shooters on day 1, but we are still having a really good hunt because we got to see plenty of deer.
With the first official day of the fall for Chad and Dana in the books, day 2 looks to be promising as a weather front is on the horizon. High Mountain seasonings are an easy way to transform your game into jerky, snack sticks, sausages, and brats. Best of all, it's fresh, easy to make, and tastes great. To find High Mountain seasonings in your area, go to highmtnjerky.com.
Guys, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about game calls. You know, we're bow hunters, and if you've watched the show very long, you know that we bow hunt more than anything. And when we bow hunt, it's all about getting close to your game and doing things right when it counts. A lot of that is having to do with how you call and interact with these animals. We interact with animals, especially white-tailed deer, a lot constantly, not just in the rut, in the pre-rut, rut, and post-rut. Flexstone makes a ton of different calls for any type of calling you think you like better or want to try something new. They make it. They're really innovating a lot of the new calls that really aren't even in the market by any other brand today. One of my most favorite calls is simply their grunt call. I think the new model is called the actual buck collector, but what I like about it, Flexstone's whole premise behind their company is being able to be flexible to change the tone of the sound to make it sound more realistic as the actual animals do. More like the palate and the throat being able to move, just like this call is able to move. You can change the tone of this call just by squeezing the top or by squeezing the bottom. It allows you, if you want a more dominant call, if you want to snort wheeze, if you want to grunt, it'll do anything you want to do. You could change the volume if they're real close or you're trying to reach out across the field and get them. It's very easy to use. We probably use this call more than anything else we use in the tree. If you just had one call to go get or one call to bring in the woods with us, this is the one it's going to be. Learn how to use calls, look at Flexstone. They've got one of the best ones out there. It should help you be more successful in the field.
This segment is brought to you by Hunter Safety System. Saving lives is what we do. And by The Sportsman's Guide, the largest supply of name brand hunting gear at closeout prices.
Man, this is what every deer hunter loves. We've got a front coming in. The only thing I love better than a front is catching one of the first good cool snaps of the year, and that's what's happening. It's early October and there's going to be a frost on the ground tonight. This should definitely pick up the deer movement.
It's our second evening here in Kansas, and the wind has picked up and it's gotten a lot cooler. It's probably dropped 20 degrees since yesterday, so we're going to go off in the woods here and try to get out of this wind and get settled in the tree stand.
Well, we're in a new stand location and I absolutely love this spot. It is gorgeous in here. Now, these deer are basically using this spot to travel back and forth from the wheat fields to their bedding ground. So all we're trying to do is get in between them, cut them off, put out some final feast in hopes of getting a good shot opportunity.
Even though a weather front was pushing in, Dana opted to hunt near water. The Midwest had been suffering from an extreme drought that seemed to dry up every water hole in the county.
Yeah, this is an awesome spot. You know, one thing that makes this spot so good is this creek that's running through it. I mean, you've got the timber and all, but you've got water, something that's very hard to find this time of year. On a drought year like this where it's so severe, it's always good to have water, and we've hunting right over it.
There's a little buck coming in. Small buck coming in. It's missing one side.
Well, there's no doubt we are in a great spot. We are seeing plenty of deer and seeing plenty of bucks. We just haven't saw a shooter yet.
Man, we were seeing a pile of bucks. I mean, most of them were young deer. We didn't see any mature bucks, but we seen a lot of cool looking deer, a lot of good character, a lot of good potential for the future.
Dana was covered up with bucks on her timber set near the water hole on day 2. The temperature was forecasted to drop below freezing that night, and Dana hoped that would be enough to get a big shooter buck on his feet the next day. Crossbows have extended hunter seasons nationwide, and Barnett has been at the forefront of crossbow technology, coming out with new, innovative crossbows like the Ghost 410, the fastest crossbow that Barnett has ever made, and the Buck Commander Extreme, ultralight, weighing just 7.1 pounds. Barnett crossbow, faster, stronger, lighter, every year for over 50 years. This segment is brought to you by the amazing Luminoc. Light 'em up with Luminoc and always know where your arrow hits.
Well, it's our third day in Kansas, and we finally have this little front push through. I think it's in the 30s right now. We got a light wind. It's been raining most of the day today, but we're getting in there probably about 2 hours earlier than we did yesterday. I know those deer were moving pretty early yesterday, and especially with this weather changing, so we're going to hunker down and sit tight for the next few hours and just hope we see a nice buck. We saw plenty yesterday, so we're just hoping for a good afternoon.
You know, we had plenty of options for stand locations that afternoon, but there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to go right back to the same spot we were before.
The first time we hunted this spot was yesterday. It's a fairly new spot, and from the time we got out here yesterday to the time we left, it's cold. We got a light wind, so these deer should be on their feet and moving. I think we're set up for a really good hunt this afternoon. We just gotta sit tight and wait for a buck to come through.
When I look up, I can see a good buck headed our way.
She tells me she sees a good deer coming, and when I looked up and saw that buck, I could tell business was fixing to pick up.
What I want this year, I have to let stuff like that walk, but man, that's hard to do. That is a fine buck.
I'm gonna tell you what, man, that was a good deer she passed. I mean, I would have been proud of her for shooting it, but I think I'm even more proud of her for letting it walk. I mean, it's always easy to do early season when you know you've got a long year ahead of you, but it's still kind of a hard thing to do to pass on a deer like that.
Passing a solid buck in early October is never easy. But for Dana, she hopes it will pay off for a chance at a bigger deer. With the rest of the season ahead of her, only time will tell.
Well, we left Kansas early this morning. We had a short trip, but a good, 2 or 3 days hunting there. Right now we are on our way to Jackson, Mississippi to check on my father-in-law. He had a little accident.
Next time on Wallhanger.
Kidding me?
Man, you never want to get a call like this.
Is he all right?
My father-in-law had fallen from a tree stand.
From what it sounds like, Daddy was on his deer leash trimming some limbs and lost his grip. And you don't talk about plans changing. Now we're dropping everything we're doing and we're heading straight home.
All right, we're on our way. We gotta go.
Wallhanger TV has been brought to you by Elite Archery. Respect the game. Reconics. See what you've been missing. Dead Downwind. It's not just luck. Antler King. Bigger bucks. Healthier deer. Gator Track Boats. Making waves where the competition can't. Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Scott Archery. Everyone's #1. Ozonics. In the field ozone generator. Ammo2go.com. Your one-stop shop for all your ammo needs. And these fine sponsors. Wallhanger gear. And more information about our sponsors and outfitters, log on to wallhangertv.com. For updates and giveaways, be sure to follow Wallhanger TV on Facebook. Join us next week for more Wallhanger TV with Chad and Dana Wall, right here on the Pursuit Channel.